We're Kettles Heritage Society. This is Kettles Lane out here, and we're here in Kettles Park, right? So, and really it's about these two people, AJ Kettle and Tom Kettle. And we're here to celebrate their life and try and understand their legacy.
Afterwards, when the event is over, as Mick pointed out, all are welcome to join us back in Wales. We need funding to sustain events like today, and I'd like to take this opportunity to say a special thanks to Fingal County Council for the grant they have provided to us to support today's event.
There's a great word nowadays called influencers. And there's no doubt about it, Andrew and Tom Kettle were the influencers of their time. There is much deserved credit due to and for raising greater awareness of these two heroes. So well done everybody involved in continuing the effort to ensure that Kettles have their rightful place in local, national and international history. I look forward to hearing more, not just today, but going forward. You have sparked my interest in the Kettle story, so I look forward to learning more as time goes on. Thank you very much.
Andrew J. Kettle and his son Tom have both left a valued legacy that has probably not yet been fully understood nor fully explored. His mother's influence also may well have been the inspiration for his interest in politics. He tells us that his mother, during the famine years, put together all the spare food and clothing and much that couldn't be spared, and often accompanied by Andrew, made nightly visits to local families. Tom was born in 1880 in Artane and grew up in Millview and Malahide. He received a good education, attending O'Connell School, Clongowes College, the King's Inns and UCD. He was a poet and essayist, an MP, a barrister, a professor of economics and a soldier. Tom Kettle's ideal was an Ireland identified with the life of Europe.
AJ was also gifted with the ability of relating to people and to animals. AJ's contribution to the 3 F's, coming up with the notion of the fixture of tenure, the freedom to sell, and a fair rent, were all very important principles. And I might even say that today they still have the same value. Tom was a very intelligent man and a wit, clever and charming. He attended college and he held court at the National Library, on the steps of the National Library, before adjourning to the real debating society of Dublin, which was the Bailey. It was the theatre of thought. But Tom would have been a very young man at that stage, and he contributed freely with his ideas and wasn't afraid to take on the sages of the day as they lowered their pint.
Some people may know that a couple of years back we, with the Kettles Heritage Society, began to look at this book, The Material for Victory, which is a book that, as was commented on before, put together by Lawrence Kettle and published in 1958, over 40 years after his father had died. And his father had made these notes in handwritten notes, and had rolled them up on little bits of paper in rubber bands, and had stored them away. And he had hoped that Tom Kettle would edit it, but Tom Kettle died before he did even. And with all of the change in the way that politics and society was after 1916, Lawrence Kettle just put the notes away and thought nobody would be interested anymore in all of the trials and tribulations and the political activism of his father. And luckily, he came to his senses, and he worked to get it published in a wonderful book in 1958, which, like a lot of books of the era, went out of print and became a little bit obscure, but is really popular with historians of Parnell and historians of Davitt and the Land League and so on. So it remains a really important book in academic circles, but it's actually full of wonderful stories and rich accounts of the politics of constitutional nationalism, and it's the ambivalent moments of engagement with the Fenian stream, or what would be known as the advanced nationalist stream as well, that was already alluded to as well. So in our conversation we talked about, could we republish it? And we realized that it would need quite a bit of work in terms of notes and annotation if it was to be republished, so that people could really enjoy it and understand it, because there's so much detail that you'd have to know quite a bit about it. So we were fortunate enough at NUI Galway. We're actually, this week, we're going to be back to University of Galway. That's the title. So you're very close with UCG. We're almost going back to UCG. And we got a small grant, in collaboration with the Kettle Heritage Society and myself. We got a small grant from the library to create a digital version that's fully annotated and explains the book. And it will be, we're working on it, we're 80% worked through the content, and by the end of this calendar year it will be available, it'll be freely available, it'll be an open educational resource, it'll be available PDF, EPUB and so on. And the more I read and the more I learn, the more impressed I am by this man and his contribution at different junctures to history, and how right and fitting it is that we are remembering and that we are attempting to bring him back, and Tom Kettle, and has been referred to the Kettle family and their contribution, not just locally, which is a great source of pride in North Dublin. As I was growing up, my mother, Patricia Kettle, always North Dublin is the only Dublin, there was no other Dublin. He learned in his early 30s that he could be most effective by pairing up and teaming up with talented front leaders. And what people don't realise so much is that he began his career working very closely with Isaac Butt, who again is another person in Irish history that needs to be written back into history. We need to appreciate more his contribution. And Andrew J. Kettle worked very closely with Butt. We don't look at the detail of what Andrew Kettle himself did. So he established first of all the County Dublin Tenants Defence Association. From that he mobilised to develop a national, what he envisaged as a national tenant rights association. And in a letter he wrote to, or that was published in the Leinster Press, the goal was to unite the tenants against any encroachments on their rights, and to promote by every legal and constitutional means the social interests and independence of the tenant class. Davitt and Parnell need A.J. Kettle's tenant right platform to make the Land League happen. And they come and they ask him for this, they need him for this. So he's quite, he tells the story, and you get, and other historians back this up. But more, it really is, there are three legs to this stool. It's not Davitt and Parnell, it's Davitt, Parnell and A.J. Kettle who are driving this. And Kettle is there before any of them with the vision and with the strategy. And so on the 21st October 1879, the Irish National Land League, popularly known as the Land League, was founded in a meeting in the Imperial Hotel Dublin, and Davitt and Parnell had to twist Kettle's arm to chair it. He felt it was too responsible a position, he didn't feel that he was worthy of it, and they said, no, we will not have the support of the Fenian movement in America if you're not seen there because you're the person who brings the grassroots, who brings the tenant rights grassroots network to this, which makes it believable as something that can actually make headway.
I'd like to invite Pat Kettle Evans up. Your dedication, hard work, and wholehearted support of Kettles Heritage Society in all our endeavours and events since we started, Pat. This is a lifetime membership award. An absolute pleasure.
I'm very proud to be here today, and what knowledge I have, I'll pass it on. And thanks to all the members of the committee and everybody that's put this together, and I hope to keep it going for many years.
Well, the sorrow, the sadness, the glory, the shame, the killing and dying was all done in vain. For young Willie McBride it all happened again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Did they beat the drum slowly? Did they play the fife lowly? Did they sound the death march as they lowered you down? And did the band play the last post of chorus? And did the pipes play the flowers of the forest? Thank you.
Your granddaughter and your two grandsons done a wonderful performance here for us today as well.
Yes, yeah, and they're world champions now. You know that. Huh?
Oh, that's great to hear. Great to hear. Yeah. We're really mixing with the successful superstars now.
And then we see we're there on the McCourt side. I'm the McCourt of Margaret McCourt's relations,
Great. So
and they're my
AJ Kettles' wife was a McCourt.
Margaret McCourt.
absolutely honoured to have you here, because not only have we 3 Irish dancers, we have 3 world champion Irish dancers.
I really enjoyed it.
And as I said to somebody else earlier today, without history, if we don't know where we came from, we don't know where we're going. And that's why I try to get younger people into the groups I'm involved with, you know.
I thoroughly enjoyed the day, and I learned more about everything than I ever thought possible, and I'll be coming back again.